Willie D live.
What's up, family? Donald Trump, your president, woke up on the wrong side of the bed crying. Yeah, fam, I'm talking about literally crying. He was crying. Melania said that he was deeply hurt because he did not get his ballroom budget approved. Yeah, fam, he needs 60 votes and he just can't come up with the 60 votes he needs. And you know, that ballroom's supposed to cost $1 billion. Remember, it started off at 200 million. And I said it when he first said 200 million, that even though that is a huge amount of money, that the number would inflate because all of his numbers inflate. It's never whatever they say it's going to be, right? So anyway, Trump was looking like this. You know, he looked at Melania like that. He was like, "You don't understand. You shut up before I send you back." And they got into an argument or something like that. But anyway, let's check out this article in The Hill. Senate parliamentarian rules against Trump's White House ballroom funding and budget bill. That's cold-blooded, man. How they gonna just rule against the president? The Senate parliamentarian late Saturday ruled against the $1 billion provision intended to fund President Trump's White House ballroom in the budget reconciliation package. The guidance, according to Senator Jeff Merkley, who serves as the ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee, states that a project as complex and large in scale as Trump's proposed ballroom necessarily involves the coordination of many government agencies, which span the jurisdiction of many Senate committees, adding that the funding provision is outside the scope of the Judiciary Panel. Earlier this month, the Senate Judiciary Committee, as well as the Upper Chamber's Homeland Security Committee, included funding for the new complex and a budget reconciliation bill for federal immigration enforcement. According to Merkley, Elizabeth MacDonough, the nonpartisan Senate parliamentarian, said that the ballroom funds violated the Byrd rule, a strict Senate procedure that prevents non-budgetary extraneous provisions from being passed through the budget reconciliation process. The parliamentarian's advice is based on whether a provision is appropriate for the reconciliation and conforms to the limitations of the Byrd rule. It is not a judgment on the relative merits of a particular policy, the Saturday statement from Merkley's office reads, adding that any vote on ballroom funding would be subject to a 60-vote threshold. I ain't got no problem with that. Anything to piss off Trump. Man, y'all don't understand, fam. When Trump get mad, he gets mad. He be ready to he be looking to hit something, like a 2-year-old, you know. Yeah, 2-year-old, they just don't understand logic. They don't understand. They can't have everything that they want. And they just start, and especially for a 2-year-old that's used to getting what they want, right? You finally say no, they just go crazy. That's Trump. Oh man, boy, he giving that White House staff the blues right now. You know what, fam? I say to Trump not getting that ballroom approved, man, go get you a GoFundMe like everybody else. Do a GoFundMe. I bet you if he did a GoFundMe, he'd get that ballroom money. Because that's how much the people who follow him hate America. They really don't love America like they say they do, because the things that they do and the people who they vote for, they're counter to the beliefs that they so-called say they have, their belief system. How many times have you woken up to the news? Or have you awakened to the news? I said woken up. How many times have you awakened to the news of another Republican messing with these babies, getting caught up messing with kids, getting caught up cross-dressing, all that kind of stuff. But they claim to be anti-LGBTQ. They claim to be the so-called party of family values. Make it make sense. They hate the LGBTQ community, but at the same time, allegedly embrace Bruce, what's the dude's name? Jenner. What did he change his name? Caitlyn. They embrace him, but at the same time, they shape policy that goes against him, that allegedly hurts him and his lifestyle. You know, they said that, remember when they changed the law, they said that they were going to start requiring that passports identify, that the passports list your birth gender. So no longer can you say, I feel like a woman or I feel like a man, and that what goes on your passport. Your passport will now be birth gender identified. So whatever you identified with, whatever you was born with, that's what goes on, what's up on your birth certificate, that's what goes on your passport. That's where they are with it. But anyway, let me tell you something, fam. I have been thinking about this ballroom. I was like, you know what? Why is Trump so excited about this ballroom? Why does he want a ballroom so badly? And I said, well, I know he likes to party and everything, you know, but he really wants that ballroom. I'm thinking if he wants the ballroom, first and foremost, let him and his private donors pay for the ballroom. That's number one, right? But after that, let's say you got President Willie D. I'm coming in next. Let me tell you what I'd do. I would tear down that entire ballroom. Day one. I would bring, and I'll make it a big production like he likes to do. I'll bring in bulldozers, wrecking balls. Day one. If I could blow it up without damaging the rest of the White House, I'd do that. But I'll come in there with wrecking balls and everything on day one, have a big old production. I might even do a parade and tear it down on international television. I'll make sure everybody see it. Tear it down day one and rebuild the East Wing. That's what I would do. Day one. Woo, boy. You know, Trump gonna be a little older by then. So anything could trigger an old person. Anything can get them on up out of here, right? Any little thing, right? And I'll be trying to get them. I'll be trying like, hey, man, tear it down. Let them see it. Tear it down. I'm black and I'm proud. Boy, I tear it down. I tear down every piece of it and rebuild the West Wing. And I would pay I would pay black people to rebuild it, and I would give black people like $1,000 an hour. Everybody build it, $1,000 an hour. And I'd make sure I take down his pictures. Anywhere he got a picture at, it's going down. Anywhere he has his name on a building, a street, it's coming down. In a book, it's coming down. I'm signing executive orders day one. It's coming down. Yeah, I'm shutting all of that down. So you got to have somebody like me in there, man. You got to have somebody that ain't scared of. But I'm going to tell you something, fam, just to call a striker striking a ball a ball. Those Republicans are going to try to find some way, not try, but they will find some way to come up with that money, because they always do. When they want to do something, especially something as grand as that ballroom, and all it takes is money. They know how to find money. Ain't that something how they can find money when they want it? Yeah, they know how to find money when they want it. They're gonna find that $1 billion. They're gonna come up with that 1 billion. The ballroom will be built. They will come up with that $1 billion. First of all, Trump, I'm sure he's on Truth Social right now going crazy. He's probably shaming the Republicans who crossed the aisle, who voted against it. He's probably absolutely shaming them. So he's going to fight tooth and nail. You know what I'm saying? He's going to fight trying to get that ballroom. And they're going to build that ballroom because, like I say, they always find money when they want it. When they want to do something, they find the money. You can look at any city in Houston, any city in the United States. If you look at any of these cities, some of these cities have bad infrastructure. They have horrible police-community relations. Their schools are suffering. Their healthcare industry is suffering. People can't even afford healthcare. They can't afford groceries. If you look at these cities straight across the board, there's a lot of suffering going on. But they'll find a way to build a stadium. They'll build a brand new stadium. They'll build a museum or something. Like, where they get that money from? You got people sleeping on the streets. They'll build a museum right in the park, or they'll build a stadium, a big parking lot, right there where people sleep in the park. They ain't got the money to help the homeless. They ain't got the money to feed the poor. But they got the money to build these massive structures that rich people benefit off of. Make it make sense. No more talk.